Hello, hello. What is up, beloved? This is a really beautiful time because there are only 13 moon cycles in an entire year, and the first one of 2021 is upon us today, right now. And it's just super, super exciting. And so, the two of the most popular phases that are in each cycle hold different energies. And the focus of this video is dedicated to the new moon specifically, which is today. And so this is going to help you know how to best work with its magic and be able to start to birth your visions to life. So yeah, I am so stoked. Now, before we get into all of that, I just want to introduce myself in case we don't know each other. My name is Cynthia Gutierrez of Embodied Ritual, and I am here to guide you through spiritual embodiment so that you can lead a vibrantly healthy, sacred, and sovereign life. And if you're new to my work and we don't know each other very much, it would be super awesome to keep in touch. So please follow Embodied Ritual on Instagram and Facebook. And make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel where you can also click the bell and get a heads up about the newest videos that are coming out every week. All right. The gardener just came up, so there's that. Hopefully you can't hear it too much. And I'm sure my voice will kind of, drown it out from here and there. But anyway, we're just going to roll with the punches, right? And like, what a beautiful time to just keep going on our dreams, to just keep our visions clear and focused on our North Star through such interesting times. I mean, wow. And so anyway, yeah, super excited. What I want to get to and first start off with is making the point that energy is everything. And everything is energy, right? I mean, if you're watching this, I'm sure you have more of a conscious mind and you're paying more attention to, seen and unseen things. And I mean, it is physics, right? How everything is energy. And I believe that the more intentional you are in the way that you're being, the easier it is to witness and experience the manifestations of your intentions. And on the flip side, if you're not paying attention to the opportunities that are available to you, and you just keep on trucking, doing the same old thing day in and day out, then the longer it's going to be until things really start to change for the better. And I work from a place from, if I want to see change, then I create the change from within me. So I live my life very much from the inside out. And honestly, it's really proven itself true. And that's why I just keep doing it. And that's why I'm here to share with you how you can start doing that too. So yeah, it's interesting too, when like we want to create so much change within ourselves, yet things can seem pretty overwhelming, right? When we have such big changes and such big dreams on our heart, like it can seem kind of daunting. And it may feel like, oh my God, it's just way too much for me to do on my own. And I just want to let you know that things are not meant to be done on our own. Like, we are here upon this earth. We are fully supported by in seen and unseen ways. And just the fact that we're here today is, it's like miraculous. Honestly, it truly is a miracle to be here together right now. And so I just wanted to remind you that you do not have to do everything on your own. And we do have seen and unseen resources that we can tap into. So working with the energy or working with energy in general and with the spirit realm is one of the most miraculous ways to experience the transformations that you seek. And so this video is going to start to explain lunar energy and how to work with its magic so that you can start to create change in your life and bring your intentions to life and live your dreams. And so to really start to sink into this lunar energy, I think it's really important to touch upon why it's super important, why it's crucial, why it matters, right? So there's plenty of research that shows how humans, animals, and even plants are affected by the moon and its cyclical phases. Okay, so for humans, regardless of gender, although there are differences in sensitivity, whether you are menstruating or not, it does greatly affect our emotions and the way that we and kind of, I feel like kind of like on a subconscious level too. And so when we're more aware of how the moon and its energies and these phases that we experience all the time, as long as we're here on this earth, affects us, then we can come into a place where we can learn how to work with the energy and learn how to flow with the tides rather than resist its pull or trying to do the same old thing every single time when the energy on a subconscious level, on the lunar level, is just not in alignment with that. And so, yeah, I think it's really helpful to start to learn about the phases and how you can start to harness the energy and work with its magic. And so another thing I think it's so beautiful now, I mean, I believe that like the divine feminine, right? Like just feminine energy in itself is really starting to be honored a lot more. It's starting to be respected a lot more. And I think it's really beautiful how the feminine is starting to rise in equal importance with the masculine. And so I feel like in our society where the masculine is so like put on a pedestal and how this is the way it needs to be, we can start to see now how it's out of balance. Basically it's out of balance, and we need to start harmonizing ourselves in the way that we are being and the way that we go about our lives, and in starting to be more aware and working with the lunar energy and the feminine essence, so that we can come into a more of a balanced and harmonious way of living together. So I think that's super important. So energetically, there are 4 phases within the moon that also coincide with the 4 seasons of the earth, with the 4 phases of a day, and the 4 phases of a menstrual cycle. And I think it's just so fascinating how they all have these same 4 phases that really helps take us through a journey. Okay. And I see it as kind of like a creation journey, a creation experience. So it can really help give major insight on the unfoldment of something of that is being birthed into creation, that is coming into the full bloom of the creation, and then how it starts to unwind and come to an end, a completion, right? And so when we're more aware of this this cyclical creation experience, it can help us with manifesting and celebrating our creations that we want to bring into our lives or share with the world, and so on and so forth. And so I want to get into what a lunar cycle is, okay? Because today we are starting one, and I think it's so important, and I would encourage you to really work with the energy and learn how to harness the energies that are potent today. Okay. And so the complete lunar cycle is all of the moon phases. Okay. So it starts with the new moon, which is today. Some people call it the dark moon, right? Where the sun is shining its light on the other side of the moon that we are able to see today, or to see tonight here on Earth, right? So the lunar cycle starts with the new moon, and then it moves into the first quarter, or what people call the waxing moon. Okay. And so that's when more light shines onto it, and then it's at that perfect half. Okay. And then it starts to move into the full moon, right? The complete lit moon. And then it moves into the last quarter moon, or what some people call the waxing moon. And so the light becomes lesser and the darkness starts to come. And then you see the other half of the moon. Okay. And then the cycle completes when it moves back into the new moon phase. So that is a lunar cycle in itself, from new moon to first quarter to full moon to last quarter to the new moon. Okay, and that's when it ends and the new one begins. All right, so new moons are like transitional phases from the past one or the previous cycle to the new cycle. And so each cycle has its own energetic imprint, or I should say, each phase of the moon has its own energetic imprint, right? Because the 4 phases makes up one cycle. And so the first phase, the new moon, is more, the energy of it is an inward focus, right? So when the moon is dark and we can't see it at night, we would need flashlights, right? Like it would be very, very hard to travel at night. And so for us humans, we would have to like bring a flashlight or be very cautious, maybe not even go out at night. Of course, we live in a modern time, and so there's lots of lights everywhere. But if, let's say, we were camping or something like that, living in a more rural area, being more in tune with the earth and its cycles, the natural cycle, right? The new moon is an inward focus. This is where we rely on ourselves and our intuition. This is when the energy is most intuitive. And this is where we can really attune to our awareness of what's going on within ourselves, right? And also it's a very potent time to reflect. So reflecting, since it's a transitional kind of phase, we're reflecting on the past cycle of what worked, what didn't work, the lessons that we are ready and willing to carry with us. And then from there, it's also a potent time to be decisive. So after reflecting, it's really great to decide, okay, what do I want this new cycle to be about? What is the theme here? What are my intentions? With the lessons that I learned from the last cycle, what am I gonna, how am I gonna carry that with me in the new cycle? And so the new moon is really, really ripe for rituals that are for planting seeds of intentions, okay? So we can imagine the dark moon, the new moon, as a blank garden bed. That's how I like to see it, right? And the soil's all black and all that, dark. And so you can imagine every new moon, which happens 13 times throughout the year, is like a cosmic clean slate. And so what you can do under a new moon is journal, maybe, where you can reflect and decide, set some intentions. You can create a vision board, right? It's kind of like brainstorming, like really, really going in within ourselves to really clear up. What is it that we want? What does our vision look like? What does it feel like? Yeah, what's happening here? Or what do we want to happen? What do we desire? You can also have like a ritual practice of speaking intentions out loud. You can take part in ceremonies. And here I just would really encourage you to trust your intuition, right? Because this is a time of the moon where it is most intuitive. And so also what I want to say is that because these 4 phases are in alignment with the 4 menstrual phases of someone's who is menstruating, when you are in your bleed time, when you are actively bleeding, that is the new moon phase. When a person is bleeding, that is a time when they are most inward, where they're really conserving the energy and where they may feel most intuitive. And I feel like when the time comes to bleed, it's releasing the old cycle so that the new cycle has a fresh new, bed of potential, new beginnings. And so one thing to be mindful of when a new moon dawns upon us is to be really aware of how you are being, of the thoughts you're thinking, of what you're doing, 24 hours before and after the exact time of the new moon. So, for example, the new moon that we are experiencing right now is exact at 9:01 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Okay, so that's where I'm at. I live in the Pacific Standard Time, and so let's say 9 p.m. right? Tonight is like the exact new moon. Well, I know that from 9 p.m. last night, that is the beginning of the new moon window. And so since last night at 9 p.m., I was a lot more aware, more mindful, more conscious of the way that I'm being and the way that I'm thinking and feeling and what I'm doing, who I'm with, all of that stuff, because everything that's happening 24 hours before and after, so also continuing until 9 p.m. tomorrow night, that is really, all of the energy is really coming together. And it's like setting the tone for the new cycle all the way into the next new moon. Okay, I don't even remember what date that is. But yeah, so just be mindful 24 hours before and after of the exact time of the new moon. It's really, really ripe. And so that's when I would encourage you to like do ritual before or after. Some would say like, oh, you can only do it on the exact time, but I'm a lot more fluid. I'm just like, I'm just going to get it in when I can, when it works best for me. And so I would just say 24 hours before or after, you're good. Okay. Oh, who just popped on? Christine? Oh, yeah. And see, that's another thing. Midnight exact in my time zone. I think I'm gonna put you on blast here. So yeah, Christine was just sharing that it's at the time for her and where she is in the world, it's at midnight. So like, that's kind of a lot for someone that might really value their sleep. I'm someone that is totally that way. And so I probably would not stay up until midnight. I got a little one, I have a toddler, I've got other things that I'm doing. And so I would make sure to do a ritual before or after that midnight time, 24 hours, right? And so, yeah, another layer about lunar cycles is that they also can tell you what zodiac sign that it is amplifying. Now, one thing I'm going to tell you right now is that I'm not an astrologer, okay? But I am super interested and it's very exciting to learn about because ever since I started really paying attention and taking it into consideration in the way that I plant intentions or make plans, all this stuff in relation to the Western astrology, I've had amazing results. And so I just want to say that, like, there is Western astrology, there's Eastern astrology, and there is also, so many cultures, especially ancient cultures, have had their own astrological kind of cosmic mappings to their culture that coincide with the stars in the universe, that we can see, that we can visibly see. And it's just amazing. So I love like learning about different cultures, kind of astrological cosmic mappings, because it's just fascinating in the way that relates to their culture and at the time of when it was active. Yeah, what is this? And the new moon goes void, of course, after approximately 2 hours. Oh yeah, right. See, that's another, there's so much to learn about this stuff. It's amazing. I don't know who this is, but I see you. So try to work with the new moon energy before or after the void, of course. Right. That's another one. And so, you can Google about this stuff. And just to be like really, how do you say? So there's something that is, and thanks for sharing about that, by the way. I can't see who you are, but that's something about magic, that's called correspondence. Okay. So like, you can set intentions whenever you want. Honestly, you can do it whenever you want, however you want, whatever. Like you can do it when you feel called. Yet when these windows of opportunity, when the energy is not like that is done by you, but on a universal kind of plane where the moon, the season, so many things are really coming together to kind of, I think of it as like vortex of energies that come together to open up this pocket of opportunity. This is when I'm like, oh yeah, like jump on in, like let's work with this. And so the more that you learn about these different windows of opportunity to work with energy in the spirit realm and to really bring your intentions to life, I think the better it is. And it's just such a blast. Oh, hey, Cindy. What's up? Awesome. Oh, okay. And I follow the Hebrew lunar monthly rituals called Rosh Chodesh. Okay, cool. Yeah, there's so many, so many different people that you can find that's really, really into it. Or excuse me, that is really helpful that you may get into and enjoy yourself. So awesome. Thank you. So let's see here. So like I said, I'm not an astrologer, right? But I do pay attention and I've taken some notes. And so the astrology sign that the moon will be in can really help you specify your rituals and intentions. Okay. And so this particular one is in Capricorn. And that's exciting to me because my son's in Capricorn. I'm a Capricorn. And with Capricorn, there's this thematic essence going on of success, of achievement, of responsibility, learning lessons, being an authority, and really solidifying your role. Okay, and so now another thing to consider is that there are different planets and all this stuff going on too. And so I would just highly suggest looking into astrological forecasts and other people that can really dive deep into other things that are at play as well. Because I know like Saturn and Jupiter, Mercury, Pluto is like a big old, that's a whole nother thing, in which Pluto is like a transformational energy that brings a lot of shadow to light, which is interesting because 2020, right? I feel like this new moon is kind of like helping us take the moment to be like, okay, of this last lunar cycle, but also of the past year, like, what are the major shadows that came up for me? And not only just for me, but like within the family, within society, the community, the collective, like it's, there's a lot to reflect on there, but also taking the lessons of what's most important to you and what was most impactful to you, to then be like, okay, so how can I do things differently? Yeah. And so anyway, so in the private Facebook group that I host called the Embodied Leaders Movement, I started doing this thing where I would ask people like, okay, this week's video is going to be on this. Do you have any questions? And Julie came up and started asking about, what did she say? How this new moon can set directions or intentions and finances and growth for the new year. And one thing is that to really dive deep into how this new moon and the energetic imprint is affecting the rest of the year, I would again suggest YouTubing, looking into other astrological forecasts that really dive deep into it, because it seems like maybe, Julie, you might be looking for something that's like the ripple effect of it. And for me personally, I work so much with I'm very much a ritualist. And so I like to just kind of take the themes of what's happening and figure out, okay, how can I make magic with this? How can I create a ceremony with this? What do I need to do with what I know to best direct my energy and attention? Yeah. So what I do want to touch up on is what intentions that you can create in relation to finances and growth for this new moon. Okay. So Julie, I would definitely encourage you to reflect, clarify, and determine what worked and what didn't work for you in the last lunar cycle or even the last year, whether it's related to finances and or growth. Okay. And so then once you take the time, journal it out, whatever, however you like to do this, reflected and clarified and determined what you want to hold on to, carry with you, you can then create intentions that revolve around a couple of things. Okay. Who you need to be in order to experience the success and achievement, whether it be financially or in terms of growth, and that's another thing. Like, Julie, I would have to like really ask you more questions as to like, okay, well, growth in what area of your life, like growth in your health and fitness, growth in your career, growth in your relationships. So yeah, I would just, again, keep clarifying, get really specific as to what you want to work on. Or receive more support for. So who you need to be in order to experience success and achievement in that way, and who do you need to be to expand and grow into a new level in life. All right. So like, I was just talking to someone earlier today about like, okay, it's like this really beautiful time of year where people are like, okay, I'm going to push on the gas pedal and like go, go, go to my goals, to my visions, to my intentions. Yet our other foot is still on the brake. Our other foot is still holding on to old habits, old ways of being, old identities, old stories, like things that no longer are serving us. And so a lot of the time, in order to help create change and move further along this path towards our goals or our vision, we really got to take the foot off of the brake and release these things that aren't serving us anymore, these habits. Maybe it's people, maybe it's, whatever it is, X, Y, and Z that, like, I'm being way too hard on myself lately. Like maybe that can be another thing, reflecting on 2020, like what didn't serve me, right? Like maybe it's time to like not buy so many sweets or something like that. Like that's something for me, honestly. That's a personal thing right there. Like I really, really just can kind of dive into this downward spiral of junk food. And it's just, that's not okay. I mean, for me personally, for some people it might work, but for me that it just really brings my energy down and it keeps my focus, distracted. And so, yeah, that's one for me that I need to take my other foot off the brake so that I can just like fly. Yup, making room for the new. Exactly. And so I think that's really important. And let's see. Also, in these questions that I posed for you, Julie, is really important, especially under a Capricorn new moon, because who you need to be in a way of taking radical responsibility in how you're showing up and really tuning into being the author of your life, right? And so it's a very Capricorn thing to do. This is something that I am like have been working on in the past year specifically, like really just dialing it in for me, and how I want to help others people too, of like, what are these old ways of being, of the way that, my self-talk, the way that I treat myself, the habits that I have throughout my day, all sorts of things. All of these things that I'm pointing out are all these things that we are doing. And some of us are so caught up in the doing, staying busy, racking up all kinds of to-do lists, right? Because it may be a distraction to who we are being on an energetic level, on a vibrational level. So like, I can be going about my day doing all the things that I'm like, okay, I need to eat better, exercise, yada, 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 all this stuff. Yet I'm still unhappy. Yet I'm still depressed. Yet I still wish to run away. And it's like, it's times like these that can help us really get, transparent with ourselves and be like, you know what? Like, if I actually want to be happy, regardless of my circumstances, it's time to be happy now. It's time to tap into that energetic flow of fulfillment. It's time to like truly be grateful for all of the things that I have right now as I'm like envisioning this new home, for example. What if I'm grateful for my home right now? And so, how can you be, Julie? What are these ways of being that will help you to experience financial success and more expansion in growth in your life, depending, in relation to what you're focusing on? And for example, another way of being that can be really helpful is integrity, to be integral. That's my top way of being because it's actually the one I need the most support with. It's the one I need the most work on. Integrity in terms of honoring my word, saying what I'm doing, what I say doing what I say I'm going to do, right? Keeping my promises and showing up in ways that I said I was going to. And if I don't, then I make it up somehow. I continue to align myself in integrity with my word and the promises I give, not only to other people, because honestly, I show up for people. If I'm like, for the most part, like that's a pretty strong point for me. I can show up when people are like, oh, like, can I count on you to be here? I will be there, and I will do my best. But when it comes to myself, honoring myself, my word, the promises I keep to myself of exercising, of getting up at a certain time, of, taking better care of myself, eating better foods, I was getting a little, lax and like, I just wasn't really honoring my self integrity. And so that's another thing too, of like with finances and growth, what is required of me to show up in this way so that I can experience financial success and expanded growth in my life? And am I, do I commit to that responsibility or not? And if so, if we are ready and willing to do this work and set the intentions under a new moon in Capricorn, what a beautiful time to do such a thing and bring these beautiful visions to life throughout 2021. Like, this is the time. So, do I commit? Yes. Am I ready and willing? Yes. And I just keep reminding myself of that. Yeah. And so I would just, how do you say? I would just encourage you to, put a sticky note, make a screenshot on your phone, like do what you can to remind yourself. Get a planner. That's what I'm working with a lot nowadays, is a planner that I look at every single day. Okay, like how can I support myself in being in integrity, to show up and do the things that I need to do in order to have the life that I dream of. Yeah. Whew. So there's that. And I think this is really exciting. And thanks, Julie, for sharing that in the Facebook group. I love it. It really got my gears working. So yeah, I am just so excited for this time at this year, because I feel like since honoring and celebrating and working with lunar magic in my life, it's really helped shift in miraculous ways all these things that I haven't been experiencing. And honestly, like they have been incremental for the most part. Like they're just little shifts, little tweaks where I was just like, okay, like set my intentions, this, yes, I want this. And sometimes, I feel like the universe is like, all right, I know you want this, but how bad do you want it? Like, do you really want this? And so I just feel like working with the moon every single cycle as best as I can really helped me just like get to that next checkpoint, all the way until we hit this really big, beautiful, celebratory like event. And so, yeah, I feel like working with lunar magic has really changed my life for the best. And I'm so excited to share all of this with you today. And it's why I like to help people become more aware of cyclical living, which is part of the fourth pillar of embodied ritual. And cyclical living really is about like attuning to and working with the powers of natural intelligence. That's all woven into, like I said, the menstrual cycle, our earth, moon, and sun, in and throughout our solar system, as well as the cosmic alignments around our galaxy. And so it's just so exciting. All right, so to help wrap up this video, I'm actually going to move this. Okay, so just to summarize again, the new moon. Okay, the energies of the new moon that you can work with every single new moon 13 times every year. It is a fresh cosmic slate. Okay, this is the universe supporting you to be like, all right, let's start over. All right, like let's do this all over again. Let's go back to the beginning, right? Or not really going back. Let's move forward into a new way of being, a fresh new start. Yeah. So again, a new moon is like a blank soil that is ripe for you to plant your seeds of intentions in. Okay. And it is a proper time to reflect on the past cycle of what worked, what didn't work. Reflecting on the past cycle, of acknowledging the lessons that came up in the past cycle, and to clarify what it is that you want in the new cycle. Okay. It's like a threshold that we are crossing. And then from that place, you can also give your vision to the universe, right? And this is what I was talking about, not doing things on your own, not feeling like everything is on your shoulders. We have a whole spirit realm. We have the entire universe here to support us and take our visions from us and allow it to just unfold in really beautiful ways, okay? And once you get clear on what it is that you want, then we can decide what is the next best intuitive step for these intentions to come to fruition. Yeah. And again, be mindful of what's going on within the 24 hours before and after the new moon is exact. All right. There's that energetic new moon window that happens. And celebrate it. I encourage you to celebrate it. Do some kind of ritual, ceremony. Like you can do it alone. You can do it with a friend. You can do it in community. Of course, everything's online nowadays, which is fine. And so I just wanted to share with you one of my spiritual teachers, my main squeeze. Her name's Athena Parakis, and she has here we go. She has a free virtual ritual that you can attend. Okay. It's called Online Tarot New Moon Ritual on it's hosted on YouTube, but in the description of this video, I have 2 links for you. The Facebook link is the event page to the YouTube ritual. Okay. So if you're seeing this before 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, you can RSVP to help get a notification about all of that, and you can get connected with her in that way. But also, if you just search on YouTube, Online Tarot New Moon Ritual, that'll take you straight there, okay? So yeah, Athena Parakis is of Sage Goddess. She's my main teacher, and I really, really honor her work. And I just wanted to share this because I am not hosting my own ritual. So I just really wanted to give you another option, another place that I trust a lot. Like I've worked with her for several years, and I'm probably going to keep working with her for more. So she's someone that I fully trust and am happy to just let you know you're in good hands. And I hope you enjoy. So I think that is it. Yes. Woo! I would love to know in the comments if you guys have already clarified like your new moon intentions. I'm still working on mine. A couple of them have been popping up today, and it's just like, I mean, honestly, ways of being. Who am I being? What is the energy? What do I want to feel like toward that? Like thinking of my goals in 2021. What do I want to feel like? Because honestly, when we think about it, all these intentions, all of these goals, what they really bring us back to is how we are feeling, why we want, what does that give us when we experience these goals, these achievements, all this stuff? It's really that feeling. And so when we get clear as to what the feeling is that this goal, this intention is, will be giving us, we can already from right now in every single moment, tap into that feeling. And the more that you tap into the feeling and amplify it so that you feel it in the moment, the faster it is. I mean, that's like one of the, laws of attraction and law of vibration. And like there's these beautiful ways that you can help bring your manifestations to life. Oh, cool. Let's see. Integrity, walking in my purpose, stepping out of my comfort zone. Yes. That's probably still you, Cindy. Hey. Well, I hope, Cindy, that your intentions unfold in really beautiful ways and in the ways that best support you and ways that really bring forth new insights into how you can gracefully live that experience. All right, y'all. Cool. Thanks for sharing, Cindy. That was awesome. All right, that's all I have for today. And thank you for joining. I would love to know if you got any plans. And yeah, I'm super stoked for all of us. This is a really exciting time. And yeah, it's such a blessing to be here with you. All right, y'all. Take care. Happy new moon. Live it up. Regardless of our circumstances, regardless of what's happening, like I just want to celebrate life with you. Because I feel like the more that we celebrate and the more that we acknowledge these beautiful things that we have going on for ourselves, the better it is, the easier it is to just enjoy the sacredness of life. Yes. All right, y'all. Take care. Hold up. There's some more intentions coming along here. Staging my son's apartment right now. Cool. Sweet. Well, I hope it's a lovely experience and a fun time. That's another thing. I want to have more fun. I want to have more fun, more play, more excitement in this new year, in this new phase, this new cycle. Woo! So it is. All right, y'all. Take care. I'll catch you next week.